Okay, so remember how I said that our console consumer, or our consumers in general, have to be part of a group. And our group is basically ID is the name of our application. So how do we set this using this? So let's open the documentation again of the Kafka console consumer and check it out. Well, we can see in the documentation that if you go all the way up, there is a minus minus group option. And then we can specify the group we want. So we'll run the Kafka console consumer, and I will not do it from the beginning, and I will do it part of the group, and we'll just name it whatever we want. For example, my first application, but you can name it whatever you want, and press enter. So as we expect, this is a new console consumer, and it's part of the my first application group. And because we don't read from beginning, well, we don't see any new messages. But if I go on the right-hand side and produce data to it, hello, new consumer, obviously the message will appear. Nothing new here, right? But now what I'm going to do is going to open a new tab to demonstrate some capability of the consumer group. So let's have a look. So I go here and say Kafka console consumer, and I'll copy this entire thing. So Kafka console consumer, bootstrap server 127.001.9092. The topic is first topic, and the group is my first application. Just make sure that you have the exact same line. So I'm not launching it right now. What I want you to notice is that if I say message 1, message 2, message 3, as you can see, my top left consumer gets all the messages. Now, if I start a second console consumer with the exact same group in parallel, so now I have two console consumer, and I say one message, another message, yet another message. What we can see is that one message and another message went to the consumer in the bottom, while yet another message went to the consumer in the top. So that's because they're part of the same group, and we have three partitions, and so far we have two console consumers. So using this, we can see that the messages, because they share the same group ID, are split between the top and the left consumer. We can replicate this one more time and start another consumer. So I'll start another console consumer with the exact same command. And so I'll clear my screens everywhere so you can clearly see what's happening. And so if I say yellow, blue, and red, we can see that the messages have been split between the three consumers. The first one got red, the second one got yellow, and the third one got blue. And so that's because we have three partitions and three consumers. That means that each consumer reads from a different partition. And so that's in action the power of consumer groups. I changed nothing, and automatically the consumer groups rebalanced and shared the load. Now, what happens if I stop, for example, my top consumer? Okay, and I do three more colors, so orange, purple, and black. Okay, well, as we can see, orange and purple went to the bottom, and black went to the middle one. So as this consumer went down, the new partitions have been reassigned between the two bottom consumers to basically handle the loss of a consumer. So this is really, really interesting. So now I'll close this one, and I'll also close the bottom one. And so now we only have one consumer left. So hello, how are you? And we can see that this consumer gets all the data. Hello, how are you? So this is right now a live demonstration of how consumer groups work. And try it out, it'll make sense. And go back to the theory lecture if it doesn't make any sense. Now I want to show you something else. Say we are going to read, so let me just stop this. We're going to read the same topic, first topic, but I'm going to say my second application. And on top of this, I'm going to say from beginning. Okay, so we'll say we read the first topic, and this is a second application, so I have a new group ID, and I read from beginning. Now press enter. What we see is what we expect. We see all the messages we've written so far to our topic. Now stop my consumer, and I will rerun the exact same command. So Kafka console consumer and the same group from beginning, and press enter. And now we don't see all the messages, even though we said from beginning. So why is that? Well, that's because the group was specified, my second application. And as I mentioned before, the offsets have been committed in Kafka. And so it says, okay, my second application has read all the messages until message number 29. So now we're going to read the new messages from message 29. So the from beginning option right here is not taken into account anymore. So I can just simply remove it because it's not taken into account. Now I say group my second application and I'll say hello again, okay, from the other side. So we can see the application is reading properly. Now what happens if we stop the application and we're going to keep on producing some new messages because let's try. And now we relaunch our console consumer using the same group, second application, and press enter. And now, as you can see, the only new messages we see is the one we've just produced because our group has been reading all the way up until from the other side. So the 3 new messages that we just created are the ones we see. And so once you get that, you understand consumers perfectly. And so just go ahead and practice and you'll figure out how these consumers work. And in the next lecture, we'll be able to start doing some more action on these consumer groups to understand them better. So see you in the next lecture.